Sir, we are live now. I request your
Okay,
permission to start with the session, sir.
you may start with the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Are you home, everyone? A warm and heartfelt welcome to the 20th session of Higher Anatomy, a prestigious lecture series designed exclusively for the first year BMS students. We are delighted to have you all here today. But before we embark on this enlightening journey, let me take a moment to introduce you to Jignasa, a pan India platform driven by the student community of Bharata within the Ayush fraternity. Created by ABVP in the year 1998, our motto is simple yet powerful: learn Ayush to practice Ayush. We strive to empower Ayush students from campuses to communities, bridging the gap between students, policymakers, and administrative authorities. Jignasa serves as a unifying force connecting every aspect of Ayush, including students, academicians, practitioners, scientists, industrialists, and hospitals, all under one inclusive umbrella. We firmly believe in thinking globally while acting locally. Working tirelessly over the past 2 decades to strengthen the Ayush education system and instill confidence among Ayush students. To achieve our goals, Jignasa has undertaken various impactful initiatives across the country, ranging from grassroots to international platforms. Some of our key initiatives include study circles, lecture series, free medical camps, social health status surveys, hands-on training workshops, conferences, interaction with eminent Vaidyas and academicians, brainstorming sessions, National Arogya Expo and International Conference, national level seminars, medicinal plant visits, pharmaceutical visits, agitations for high student community, private internship program, to facilitate hands-on learning experience under the guidance of acharyas, interaction with traditional healers, and exploring regional flora, online mock tests, social awareness campaigns, free healthcare assistance was also provided by Jignasa during natural calamities and accidents through local governing bodies. In our previous session, more than 400 live participants joined us for the session, and so far, uh, we are happy to say that we have received more than 13,000 views for our videos and iron anatomy on our channel. We are humbled by your active engagement and dedication to learning. At Jignasa, we understand the financial challenges that many students face when it comes to assessing commercial study platforms. We firmly believe that education should be accessible to all, regardless of their financial constraints. Hence, we are committed to providing a helping hand to every student fueled by the burning desire to learn. With the support of experts in the field, we offer you the opportunity to learn with no financial burden, and all we ask is for you is your unwavering interest and passion for knowledge. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Manu Krishnan sir, who is assistant professor from PNM College of Ayurveda, Thrissur. Sir has done his graduation from Nangal Ayurveda Medical College, Kerala, and post graduation from SDM College of Ayurveda and Hospital, Hassan. Sir has worked in Sharada Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, Talapadi, Mangalore, and currently working at PNM Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, Kerala. Sir is also the founder of Pro Anatomy, which is a unique learning platform to learn the human anatomy and its illustrations. Sir has incepted two YouTube channels, namely Pro Anatomy and Ayur Rachana, exclusively for the students to help them in their Rachana Shareera exam preparation. Sir has been conducting supplementary crash course and the student support group for weaker students in Rachana Shareera for past 3 years. Sir has given guest lectures in many reputed Ayurveda institutes and organizations across India. Sir is author of Rachana Sharira Practical Workbook, a guide on how to present well in your answer paper. Sir has also published many research papers on the subjects. Sir has been the guide for Spark Studentship Program for Ayurveda Research Can Product during the year 2023. Sir, we are delighted to have you on our session today, and we extend our warmest welcome to you and to each and everyone who are present on our session today. Sir, I request to carry forward with the session from now.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you for your warm welcome. Namaste, everyone. Om Sri Dhananjaya Nama. The topic that is allotted to me is Garbha Shareera and its exam orientation. So, I would stick on to the topic, and we are not looking forward into a session where I will detail each and every sections. For example, I won't be explaining each syllabus points, only the exam point of view on what all points you have to concentrate and how you can score well when a question is asked from this particular topic. That is the point of discussion. So this will be exactly a short session where we'll be discussing only how to present and how to score well for your exams when a question is asked from Garbha Sharira. So, like looking at the topic from an examiner's point of view, that is not known to you because you are all first year students. And when you are entering the exams, you will be confused a bit, isn't it? You will be scared about the anatomy exams for sure. So, next, Karthik, can you slide? Yeah, next. Yeah, fine. So, most of you will be scared about the exams, and particularly Rajana Sharira. It is not an easy subject, as you always know. And the main villain subject that come across in the first year is Rajana Sharira. What makes it this difficult? Is it the understanding part, or is it the diagrams that you have to draw, or is it the slogas that you have to learn, or is it really the lack of skill in presentation? So I would rather say it is not a single element that is causing the difficulty in scoring well for Rajana Sharma. There are many confounding factors that can actually interact with your score, and it can actually help you score well, or it can also cause the score to go down. So we have to analyze what are these concepts and what are these confounding factors which can add up to your score. Next, for scoring well in anatomy or in Rajana Sharira subject, there are certain points that you have to remember. So I'll try to include that into a recipe. The recipe to score well for Rajana Sharira exams, and particularly how to score well for the Garbha Sharira concepts. So the recipe always you can tell, like whenever we tell about a recipe, when we are making cooking something, the recipe will consist of many ingredients, right? So here today we will discuss about the right ingredients to score well for the Rajna Sharira exams, and particularly in Garbha Sharira topic. Please go to the next slide. So here I have just listed down the five important recipes and the ingredients, the five important ingredients to score well for the Rajana Sharira topics. And when it comes to a Rajana Sharira topic, irrespective of any syllabus points, when you consider Rajana Sharira, these are the five factors which are coming under the scoring pattern. So whenever we analyze an answer sheet, these are the 5 points we will look for from the examiner's point of view. The first thing, whether you are clear about the modern anatomy points, or you are clear about the Ayurvedic points, and are you familiar and can you memorize the slogas properly, and can you draw the diagrams clearly without any fault? They are not perfect diagrams. We are not looking for the perfect diagrams with all the shadings and everything. We are looking for the right diagrams which can actually interpret the meaning of that answer. Like it should be clean, it should be neat, and it should depict what you are trying to explain. And the last one and the very important part is how well you present your answer, the presentation skills. So it is not easy to study anatomy. It is not easy to study the Ayurvedic topics coming under Rajana Sharira. And it is not at all easy to present them well in your papers. That is where actually half of the people lose. That is where you lose your marks. So in this session, I'm trying to just gather you some answer sheets where you can actually see how well you can present the answers without hampering the content. Some people try to answer the question with simple slokas, and just below the sloka, you will write down a paragraph explaining it, and you will skip to the next question. That is not the right way of answer. So always remember these 5 points: how well you present the modern anatomy points, Ayurvedic points, the slokas, how well you draw the diagrams, and how you present this particular answer in the pattern. So next one. And we forgot one thing. Most of you study the entire syllabus. You try to cover the entire syllabus on the day before exam or the previous week. But what happens at last is you will be concentrating on the areas which is toughest for you. For some people, the nervous system will be tough. For some people, the digestive system will be tough. For some people, some other system might be tough. So you will concentrate on that area. And if the luck is not in your favor, sometimes what happens, the question might come from the entirely different area which you haven't referred properly. So that is actually a culprit when it comes to the main exams. But still, if you have this very basic ingredients that we have discussed in the previous slide, if you have that ingredients in your hand, you can actually make out an answer which can actually give you at least half of the marks. Thus, by saving your time, saving your energy, and relieving you from the stress when you see a question that is not. Next. So let's discuss the syllabus points coming under Garbha Sharira topic. And there are 9 points discussed here. The Garbha definition, the Shukra Shonita concept, then the Panchabhuta Siddhanta, Tridosha and its relation with Garbha, then Bija Bhaga Avayava, Masanumasiga Garbhavati, Garbha Poshana, Garbha Nabhi Nadi, Anga Pratyanga Vipaka, and Anga Pratyanga Utpatti, and finally the Abara Nirmana. And to your surprise, all these points coming under Garbha Sharira are under the category of must to know. So that means there are sure short questions that are going to come from this particular area. Next one. How much weightage you have to give for Garbha Sharira topics? So it is clearly evident and it's clearly given in our syllabus that 15 marks questions you can expect from this particular context. So in Garbha Sharira, you can expect long essays, you can expect the short answers, and also you can expect the MCQs. So we will discuss a few questions or a few area of interest that is coming under the syllabus points. And we will see how well you can present it on a piece of paper and especially on your answer sheets. And we will discuss the commonly asked questions from these areas. So let's see it first. Next. Next one. So you have to remember the earlier recipe where we have discussed about the 5 ingredients. And always remember the particular recipe is applicable for all the topics in Rajana Sharika. But only thing is this ingredients proportion will change according to the topic. If a modern question is asked, then you have to give weightage for the modern portion. And at the end, you can add up a bit of Ayurvedic portion where you can give the Ayurvedic correlation of that particular organ as with the heading interpretation. And the diagrams are very important. You can't omit it. Then the slogas will not be there in the modern topic. So what you have to do is you have to give the thought about that particular question. If it is modern, you have to give weightage for the modern topics, but the other ingredients should not be missing. It should also be included under that particular heading. But today we will be discussing about the Garbha Sharika, which is an Ayurvedic concept. So more weightage should be given to the Ayurvedic ingredient, that is the slokas and how well you present. Next one. So here I have a flowchart representation on the concept Panja Bhaudigatva of Garbha in a flowchart way. So here, like we all have studied the sloga by now, you all be knowing the Panja Bhaudigatva of Garbha and how the individual Panja Mahabhudas are contributing to the development of Garbha. So the same thing, first of all, everyone will write the sloka. everybody would have by hearted the sloga by now. And you will just write down the sloka, and after that you will simply write down the explanation. That's what most of you do. So here there is a difference. You are depicting the very same sloka by splitting it up into a flowchart method. By presenting in this way, it will make easier for the examiner to understand that you have learned the concept very clearly, and it will be easy to note down the points as well. So that gives you easy scoring. Okay, so in the next slide, we have the representation. Karthik, can you just zoom in the first page, please? Yeah. So in the first page, it's clearly evident the question is Pancha Bhautikatva of Garbha. But the student here have described the very basic concepts of Garbha as an introduction. So the Garbha definition, you all will be knowing the sloka, a single line sloka depicting what is Garbha, and like the definition of Garbha in 2 lines. And right below that, can you just scroll it down a bit? Right below that, the different factors or like the components of a Garbha has been described below in a table format. So it is like not a time consuming process. You just have to give an introduction and you have to define what is Garbha, and below that you can add up the points which you already know about Garbha. This is the introductory part. Say, for example, if this question is asked for 5 marks, you have to fill up 2.5 pages or at minimum 3 pages. So, where you have to build up the content, not only one slogan, but the introduction will also serve the purpose. Where how like we will be judging, the examiner will be judging how well you have understood the concept. So, if you give a proper introduction, that gives an impression that you have learned the subject properly. Then, can you please focus on the second page? Yeah. On the second page, the student have included the Pancha Bhaudikatva of Garbha in a single line, where the individual Pancha Mahabhutas has been explained. And right below that, there is the explanation given in the flowchart method. The previous flowchart has been converted here into a table format. Can you just scroll it down a bit? All of you can refer this particular style of writing, where you can see the sloka, tam chedanavasthitam, vayur vibhajati, tejenam pachati, abaha kledayadi, prithvi samhan. The same concepts, it has been derived into a table below, where you can see the individual explanation, vata, like a vayu, up, tejo, agasa, everything has been written down, and their respective functions can be charted in the next column. And along with that, there is also a modern interpretation given in a single line in the table. So that adds the impression that you have even tried to refer and try to collect information regarding the same concept, and you have read in depth regarding the same topic. So that will provide you better marks. So always think it is the difference that you make in your answer sheet that makes you score well. It is not the extra points you write. It is how well you present the points that you. So always remember, at the last moment of exam, don't try to study new things. You just concentrate on how well you can present the things that you have already done. That is very important to remember. Okay, so can you move to the next slide? We can see another example. The Masanumasiga Garbha. It is a sure short question. Most of the times it's a repeated question in most of the exams, Rajana Shareera exams. So here, what I have presented to you is actually the normal writing pattern in which we present the answer. We will try to write the sloka. Avyaktaha pradame masi saptahat kalalam bhavet. You will start writing the first sloka, then write the description below it. Then you will go for the dvitiya masa, tridiya masa, like a simple sequential manner. So this is the way you write down the notes. But when it comes to the exams, it should be little more different, right? So how can you make it different? So to make it different, we can go to the next slide where we can utilize the concept of tables. Can you move to the next slide? So here I have a representation of a table. So in this table, it constitutes of three columns, and there are certain rows where the first row actually gives month, the month-wise development, and the three columns represents the different acharyas according to the three classical textbooks. Why did I give all the three references? There is a reason for that. From this year onwards, you people have to face the MCQs as well, right? So the multiple choice questions are tricky. They are not going to be so easy. So it should be something like a tricky question. So the Masanumasika Garbhavritti is actually an area of interest where you can get n number of MCQs. So always try to fill up this table with the correct points. So for the first month, what are the concepts given by Acharya Sushruta? What are the concepts given by Acharya Charaka? What are the concepts given by Acharya Vakvata? So you just list them down in simple words in this particular table. In similar way, all the months you have to fill it up. So once you fill it up, you can actually note down the points which are similar, which are not similar as well. So you have to trace down the points which are not coinciding with the opinion of other authors or other acharyas. So that is a point of interest for the MCQs. For example, about the ojas you can say, and you can say Balavarna Upachaya. Some concepts have been only described by certain acharyas, and which is not mentioned by the other acharyas. So by listing it down in this table format, it will be easier for you to revise it before the exams. And also the possible multiple choice questions, you can mark it down with a different color pen or something. So in the next page, in the next slide, you can actually see the person who have answered this question in this prescribed format. So the same introduction that we have seen for the Panchabhautikatva of Garbha, the definition of Garbha and its basic explanation and the different components of Garbha, followed by the Masanumasika Garbhavritti in the table format. So in the table format, can you zoom in the first table? Can you zoom in the first part of the table? The table, Karthik, can you, the second page, the middle one? Yeah, yes, that's it. So here, the number one, the first month, you can see the Susruta have told about the Kalalam, and even Vagbada has told about Kalalam, and Charaka have told about Avyaktam. So there is a slight variation in the context, and that context can be asked as the particular MCQ. Similarly, in each month, you will get to find some similar factors and some different terminologies that are used by different acharyas. So the last column has been given off for the interpretation, where you can add up the modern points as well. So in the month-wise development, you can add certain modern points. In the first month, what is the difference happening? What is the difference happening in the embryo? How it develops further? So each can be added in the modern interpretation as well. So this makes the answer complete, and it will be very easy for the examiner to value it, and that makes you score well for your exams. And also, if you prepare a note like this, it will be helpful for your final reference just before the exams. You won't get enough time to read all the slokas and study everything. So for a quick revision, this table format is actually helpful, and you can easily cover the complete topic in a glimpse. So this is the way you can present this particular context, the Masanumasika Garbha. Can you move to the next one? The next page. So we have seen how well we can present the Ayurvedic questions and how well you can present the answers in the prescribed flowchart method and the table method, and how you can access the particular attention of the exam. So these are the methods we can utilize. And now we need to discuss which are the common questions. So always when you consider the Garbha Charita, there are certain repeated questions. Here I have listed a few of those repeated questions. For example, define Garbha as per Acharya Susruta and explain the Masanumasika Garbhavritti Krama as per Acharya Susruta. So if you know the table properly, you can only list down the first column and you can easily write it down and with the modern interpretations. And the second question, the define Garbha, write the role of Pancha Mahabhuta and explain the Garbha Vrittikara Bhavas. Then define Garbha, mention Garbha Utpadaka Bhavas and explain Anga Pratyanga Utpatti Krama. Then Garbha and the Garbhadhana and explain in detail Masanumasiya Garbha. So in almost all the questions, you can see that the definition of Garbha is commonly asked. So that is actually a basic introduction you should always know. There is no chance to miss it out. So always remember the definition part should be thorough for you. And sometimes the Shuddha Shukrartava Lakshanas can also be asked along with it. So you should be thorough with that introductory part as well. So this is the way you have to see the questions and you have to interpret that these many questions are possibly coming from this area and I should be prepared for it. So how you can get prepared for it? Individual questions you can take out and make a pointer list, which all headings should be there under each questions and which all tables I can use in this particular presentation. So be ready with the answer and the pattern of answer and go for the exam. Rather than thinking on the exam table and trying to present the concept that you have in mind, it will make you lose at least 2 minutes to recollect the things and another 1 minute to plan the answer and another 3 minutes to answer it. For a 5 mark question, you have only 8 minutes to answer, while for a 10 mark question, you will have 20 to 25 minutes max. You, you have to finish it within 20 minutes, but at least if you answer the basic structure in this basic prescribed format, you can at least score half of the marks. So this should be the motto. Don't leave any questions at all. You have to attempt all the questions with the proper pattern of answering that can actually give you the marks. Okay, the next slide, please. And these are a few 5 mark repeated questions where you can see the Masanumasiga Garbhavati Krama that is usually asked for 10 marks, but sometimes it may be asked for 5 marks as well. In that case, you have to cut short everything and you need not give the whole introduction that I mentioned earlier. You can directly go for the answer. Then Garbha Vrittigara Bhavas, then Garbha Sambhava Samakti, then Garbha Utpadaka Bhavas, and the development of organs, then Garbha Poshana, Abara Nirmana, and Linga Vinishya. So each of this context, always remember there is a common introductory part that you can utilize for almost all these questions. That is the basic introduction of Garbha and everything. So make sure that you haven't missed it out. And the remaining portion, you have to study and structure it using this particular flowchart methods and the table methods so that you can present it in a very short span of time. So you have to save a lot of time, otherwise you will be finding it difficult to answer the all questions by the end of the 3 hours. So it is a very tight thing, like you have to answer 4 10 mark questions and 8 5 mark questions. That itself will take the whole time, And then if you are keeping the MCQs for last, then there are maximum chances that you can miss out certain questions or misinterpret certain questions, and you can make mistakes. So these are the basic things you should know when it comes to the Garbha Sharira. And these are the basic ideas you should keep in order to make your answers proper and to score well for your exams. So there I conclude my session. And if you have any further queries based on the Garbha Sharira and its presentation, you can ask now.
Can can I stop the screen sharing, sir?
Yeah, you can stop the screen share.
Okay, thank you, sir. Can I stop the screen sharing, sir?
Do they have any queries, Karthik?
Sir, uh, I have just got few questions, sir. I am just copy pasting it. Ah, yes, sir. So the first
Okay.
question is, I will stop the screen. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the first question is, how many shlokas to be included when asked about Shukra or Artava Lakshana is asked? That is the first question, sir.
So there is, okay, fine. So I'll give the answer to that. So when you consider learning the slokas, there is no point on learning all the slokas and writing everything on the paper. So the concept should be clear. Like when the question is asked on about the Shukra Shonita Siddhanta, like for example, if Shukra is asked, you are supposed to answer that particular sloka where the qualities of the Shukra, Shuddha Shukra has been explained. And you can also give the headings like etymology, like from where this particular term has been derived from, which dhadu or the which word root it has been derived from. Then you have to give the definition. And the definition, after the definition, you can go further, like a Shuddha Shukra Lakshana. And you can quote both the examples. And when you are quoting down the examples, this is where you can utilize the table format. You need not write all the slokas. You can write one sloka. And then below that, you can tell that similarly it has been described by Acharya Charaka. And there are certain differences in explaining the Lakshanas. And these are as follows. And you can use a table to describe the same. One side you can write down Sushruta, and the other side you can note down the Sanskrit terms which are differently told by Charaka. And always make sure you are
Thank
writing the
you.
reference.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And we have our next question, that is for Anga Pratyanga Utpatti, the table
Okay.
given in textbook studied, is it enough, sir?
Uh, that is where you have to apply the logic. When it comes to the Anga Pratyanga Utpatti, you can actually utilize the slogas that you have studied under the Masanumasiya Darba Vidyas. There are some mentionings about when the Angas will start developing. The Pancha Pindaka Bhavati, like that, certain contexts are which you can actually quote as an introduction. That is where the Angas will start developing. And later on, you can utilize the single line slokas where each Angas are developing. and then you can draw the chart that has been given in the textbook. So that is how you incorporate the knowledge you have gained in the topic of Garbha Sharira into a single answer. So don't stick on to just answer to the point. You have to give an introductory part which can direct you to that particular answer and then give the correct answer below that. This is how you have to present.
Thank you, sir. The next
Okay.
question is, sir, for Masika Garbar Vidhi, is it enough that we feel learn only Shushruta's point of view?
Sometimes you can expect, I told you, like when you why we are actually making the entire opinions into a table for the purpose of answering the MCQs also. So you have to expect 15 marks questions. It cannot be only long answer questions and short answer questions. It can also be the MCQs. So MCQs will be very specific. The question might be, what has been told by Charaka in the fourth month of development? How Acharya Charaka describes the Masana Masika Garbha with a particular context where the Chetana is developing according to Acharya Charaka or Acharya Sushruta. This might be the question coming as an MCQ. So the answers will be like the four options will be there: first month, second month, third month, fourth month. So if you don't know the other options, then the possibility of making a mistake is small. So that makes the probability to 20%. If you know at least one author, it makes maybe up to 30%, but still you should know all the context. At least you should know the differences.
Thank you, sir. And our
Okay.
next question is it always necessary to correlate to modern or only Ayurveda is enough, sir? That is they can whether they can correlate with embryology if they fall short of answer in Garbha Sharira, sir.
That is actually, it's up to you. I can't tell like it is mandatory to write the modern interpretation. So it is about how well you have to score. Because writing everything like everyone else will not get you the score that you wish for. There should be something that is additional, right? So when you are preparing that well, if you know the embryology part, then why can't you write it down? If you don't write it down, nobody is going to value it. And if you have written it down, at least you have the chance that the examiner will notice it and he may put an extra mark to that, isn't it? So why we have to take the chance? So and obviously you will be studying the embryology part. So why can't you write a few points that is that can be given under the modern interpretation for Masana Masiya Gartu? It's very easy to do.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the
Okay.
next question is, and also what to write in Linga Vinishchaya.
Okay. So the Linga Vinishya is actually the syllabus point, which is coming under the hereditary part, the sex determination and hereditary part. So there is a lot of topics coming under that broad spectrum. Linga Vinishya, when it comes to that, you can write about Pumsavana. When it comes to the Ayurvedic perspective, you can write about Pumsavana karma and different Pumsavana methods that has been explained in the Samhitas. And along with that, the sex determination is actually another topic that has been described in the modern embryology textbooks. Okay, so that there you can find the hereditary, the uh, how the genders has been divided, how it will divide according to the embryological development, how the particular change is happening in a particular embryological development. You can write both.
Thank you, sir. So the next question we have is, sir, Matrujadi Shadbhava shlokas to be memorized. Whether they should memorize Matrujadi Shadbhava shlokas.
That is very important. Madhurjati Shadbhavas, like a Garbha Utpadaka Bhavas, then Garbha Sambhava Samukti. So these are all mandatory slokas because we can always expect a question from this. So you should not miss out anything. You should be knowing these slokas, the very basic slokas first. So at least you have to remember the Shad Bhavas, and you should be able to enumerate them. So you need not write the complete sloka, but at least you can mention it, Atmaja, Satmeja, like that. If you can list them down in a table, that will be more than sufficient.
Thank you, sir. And students are requesting that whether you can share the notes you displayed on the screen, sir, so that they can go through and practice.
Yeah, sure, I can do that. I will share it with you, Karthik.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that,
So
sir.
tell them, I would like to tell one more thing. You need not exactly follow that particular notes. The notes are like, it's just a guideline in the structure of the notes. This is the pattern in which you can actually create your own notes. So add up the knowledge that you have gained through the 1.5 year course and incorporate these points into the answering pattern of yours. That is how you have to improvise it. And I also take this opportunity to share my sincere gratitude to the team Jignasa for giving me this opportunity. And of course, Mr. Karthik for giving all the technical support. And it's been a good time, like to interact with you all. And thank you all for the questions that you have raised. And wishing you all the very best for the exams. And always stay focused, utilize the 1 month time that you have for the exams, and don't get stressed. Take it in an easy way and try to improve your presentation skills. Thank you.
That's really humble of you to say that, sir. Thank you so much. Actually, we are glad to have you today. So one more question I wanted to ask, sir, if you have
Okay,
time.
okay, fine.
Like, can I go
No
for one
problem.
more
No.
question? Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
That is
sure,
basic
sure.
for all the students, sir. Because whatever we are doing, it's for the RS7 scheme students, sir.
Yes,
But there are also students who have backlogs from RS6 or
yes,
RS5 batch.
yes,
So our session mainly focused on LAQ, SAQ, and MCQ, which is the pattern for
yes,
RS7 batch.
yes.
So what would you like to suggest for the RS6 batch, RS6 or RS5 batch students, sir? Because so at least I think they have attempted for at least of 2 to 3 times, sir. But under
Yes,
due to certain circumstances or other issues, underlying issues, they would not have been able to clear their paper off, sir. Um, it
okay.
may be not their mistake or not their. That's the problem in anatomy, sir.
Yes,
Few people face that problem in
yes.
anatomy. Like they prepare really well.
I
They
can,
Yes, they prepare really well, sir. I have seen my own friends who prepare so much, actually, who actually love anatomy and do well in like in dissection part and everything. They do really well in dissection lab more than us. But sometimes they fail. I not fail, sir. They lack something in presentations, which should make them go back way back in anatomy exam, sir. So, what would you like to give a solution or suggest them, sir?
it's a very good thing that you have raised this question now, because it has been bothering me from the from the very first batch I have taught, because I have seen some of the students who are really good at their studies and really good at dissection fail for the exams. And that particular instance, that is where I started taking the crash courses for the supplementary students. The thing is, like, I have been doing that for the past 3 years, and the basic reason was this: because I've seen them personally that they struggle a lot to gain this particular presentation skills, only because they lack a lack a good handwriting, and they don't know how to draw the diagrams. These are the basic reasons sometimes they fail. They don't know how to present it properly on a paper, and they will draw very rough diagrams which doesn't give any value, and their marks will go down, and they will fail at a very brim of the marks. Maybe up to the 90 marks they can score, a 90 to 95, and they will like lose the game for 2 marks or 5 marks. So I was focusing on such students actually. They need to be focused, and they should not feel like they have failed because they haven't studied it properly, because they all have the chance. The only problem is they don't know how to incorporate their knowledge into the answer sheet. That gap is there. which is causing the failures. So I'm trying from my level best to reach out those supplementary students from the past 3 years. And so far, if I take the count, I could have like at least helped around 70 students, I guess. So all were supplementary students, all were struggling with this particular problem. So what we do was like we were actually collecting like the random write-ups from them. They were preparing the short notes and they were sending it to us. And I'll see what are the wrong things they have done in the presentation. And we try to correct it. And to the surprise, just by that corrections itself, they were able to clear the exams without much efforts. They were only lacking the knowledge of how to present them. Almost 70% of the students. The other 30% was having difficulty in studying the subject also, because they had trouble in memorizing the points. But the 70% is coming under the lack of presentation skills. So don't worry, like if you need any support, you can contact me, or like you can contact Jignasa team, because they are efforts to share the knowledge that they have in the subject.
Thank you, sir. Really glad to hear that. Sir, just received one more question. I will just read it out to you, sir. Whether there will be a question on Shukra and Hartava in 5 marks. This was the
That can
question,
be
sir.
asked. That can be asked. The Shuddha Shukra and Artava Lakshanas can be asked for 5 marks, because I can't say which will be the exact questions. But these are the areas that you should not miss out, because it carries 15 marks. It means a lot. Like when it comes to the exams, these 15 marks plus the 20 mark MCQs can actually make you reach the 35 mark. From there, you have only 15 marks to score and you can pass the exam. So there is nothing to lose. You have to focus on these points and don't miss anything out.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Getting back to the topic what we were discussing earlier. Actually, when you sent your CV, sir, I went through the CV, and I was just like I was taken aback. Like we are doing this now, but sir is doing this thing for from past 3 years. Sir is helping the students from past 3 years. That's really commendable job, sir, and I am really proud of
Thank
it.
you.
I got the opportunity to host you today, sir, because what
Thank
we
you. Thank
thought
you,
of
sir.
doing for the first year students, you have been doing it for literally 3 years, sir. So that's something everyone should really appreciate, like the student community. Like that was the
Thank you.
first kind
Thank
of
you.
I am almost went through all the CVs, sir, but this is the something that first, apart from journals and other things, research papers and other things. This is the first kind of initiatives I saw in some CVs, like
Yes,
helping
sir.
students from past 3 years, the supply students, because they are the ones who need the most help, sir, than regular
Because
students.
I
So
believe that nobody is intended to fail. Actually, they happen to fail because of their lack of, maybe like lack of thoughts or lack of skills, and they have to be uplifted. And obviously, my topics are coming under the first year subject, and the Rajna Shareera is the first year subject. So it's a transformation period for the first year students. They are just transforming from the plus two or the PUC into the like professional curriculum. So they will be having a very difficult situation where they don't know how to by heart the things and present everything. They will try to follow the exact format in NCRT. They will study it, by heart it, and present it on the paper, but they are not getting the marks. So that transformation should be smoothened out, and that is how like I incepted this idea from the students itself, and I started helping out a few students, and they were actually telling me that it has to be done in a bigger way, like to reach more students out there who needs the help. And that was the motivation. And I always remember my first batch of students from Sharada Ayurveda Medical College, because they are the ones who have given this inception, like this idea, like how they needed the support. And that is the reason for this exact thing that I have done over the period.
Uh, Actually, great to hear, sir. Actually, my sister is studying first year in Shareera Medical College, Mangalore. So she is going to write her exams. Maybe she has joined for the live also.
Okay,
So
okay,
it's
okay,
really
that's great.
we have so many things in common also. So
That's a coincidence.
so it was really great to hear your work, sir. And I am literally very glad when ma'am shared your number. And when we had my first interaction with you over call, you agreed to be a part. Like you happily agreed. Like that was the most joyful voice I heard over a call. And I'm telling it literally, sir.
There is a
I would
reason
love
behind
to.
that. The intention
I would
was
love.
good, and I was happy to join that.
Thank you, sir. And I am telling for true, sir. I would love to have your accent in the on screen, sir, because I will be going to the public places, and your accent is so good. Like I literally allowed it, be it your accent or the lecture and everything. So
Thank
on behalf of my whole team at Jignesh, sir, we are also college, we are also, despite our academic schedule, we are trying our best to do something for our journey, which we didn't had in our first year preparation.
you.
During our first year preparation, I feel no matter how much we listen in our class, since COVID time, that's when online classes started. It has become a natural tendency for students to go for YouTube and watch some videos in last minutes. But there wasn't a single channel which had a complete exam oriented playlist and anatomy. So that's when an idea struck to us that we should make an anatomy series that will be purely dedicated to exam series, and we should make sure that it will reach to every student, and they will be easily and it would be easily accessible for all the students. That was our
Okay,
idea, sir. And this
okay,
was planned during the April, and
okay,
we started executing from June 23rd, sir. So it was a plan of
okay.
2 months, and we are really grateful for your cooperation, sir.
Thank you.
And also my team, especially two state committee members by name Shibu. You might have interacted with us, sir, and
Okay,
also Priyanka, who
okay.
have been helping a lot on this particular Ayur anatomy series. So I would
Interesting.
really like to
I didn't
thank
knew
them
their name.
also
That's why I
for
couldn't
this.
listen.
Yes, sir, I would really thank them. I would really like to thank them through this, and also to you, sir, for agreeing and whatever the conditions, despite all the conditions and your busy schedule, for delivering a lecture, and particularly the notes part, sir. That was really beautiful, sir, because that's what we wanted through our exam series, sir. That how to present the answers, that structure. I really loved that part, sir. And students are messaging that they want that notes. Means they this session was very
Thank
productive,
you.
sir. That's the
Thank
result
you.
what we wanted, and we achieved through that, sir. And we haven't completed our session yet, but we are already receiving the messages for the notes, sir. That was the aim of this program, and I am
Okay.
happy that we are happy that we achieved it today through your session, sir. We are really
Thank
grateful
you.
to
Thank
you, sir. And
you.
I look forward to meet you one day, sir. We all look forward to meet you one day and
Sure,
make
sure.
anatomy to learn in a most easiest way possible, and make anatomy as much as fun as possible, because anatomy is the base for everything, sir. Literally everything that we have to
Yes,
have in our life as basics to practice in
yes.
future also. So I would like to personally meet you one day, sir, and work for
Sure,
the
sure. Sure,
whole
man.
Irish fraternity, to making them feel superior, and to make them stand head to head against, not against, sir. Means I want, what we want is
Fine.
to, not I students to feel like inferior. They are inferior to modern medicine. We want to make sure that everyone, they will feel equal. They will be confident, self confident to practice our own system, in future, sir. That's what we want to achieve through our organization. And thanks for being a part of this, sir. Really, thanks for this.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you, the Jignasa team, for this opportunity. And thank you so much.
And thank you all viewers for joining us today. Join us for two sessions. There we have upcoming sessions on I, and another, and there will be another session. The session 21 and 22 will be there tomorrow. Join us for the sessions tomorrow and keep up the same enthusiasm. That will be all from us today. And I request you, sir, to end the session.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.